Hello everybody, my name is Axel and I am representing the Orchid organization today. We hope that you're having an amazing day and are safe, happy, and healthy in your homes. So this presentation on the immune system would not have been possible without the collaborative efforts of Risha, Rebecca, myself, and Richard. So today, before we get started, I just want to talk about what we're going to be covering. We're going to be talking about the effects of sleep, stress, diet, and hygiene on the immune system. So we're going to start off with how important sleep is to the immune system. And as you can see here, sleep affects your recovery and how prone you are to getting an illness. A lack of sleep affects how easily you get sick and how you recover as well. Here are some more specific ways that the system and sleep go hand in hand. First of all, lack of sleep increases the risk of diabetes, obesity, and cardiovascular disease. In addition, the immune system may cause a pro-inflammatory state, which may become chronic or long-term if you consistently don't get enough sleep. A lack of sleep also decreases your infection-fighting antibodies, which I will be covering later on when we also talk about stress, which goes hand in hand with your risk of illness, increasing not only the extent of your illness, but also the recovery time from an illness. And it all, as it says, it negatively impacts your recovery from an illness. So the infection-fighting antibodies that we're talking about could include T cells, killer T cells, white cells, white blood cells in your blood, and etc. You might also be wondering what happens when you sleep that makes it so important. The answer to that question is that when you sleep, you release cytokines, which are needed during times of infection or stress. That means that if you don't get enough sleep, you won't release enough cytokines to fight off infections. Beyond that, sleep is also important for any vaccines you get because it can cause vaccines to work more efficiently by improving immunological memories, which is basically the memory cells that are formed after your body has fought an infection, and this is what results in a faster recovery time if you are exposed to that pathogen or that disease-causing agent again in the future. This means that your body can make a better response against pathogens that you have been vaccinated against through antibodies. As you can see, not only does sleep affect how long you're going to be sick, lack of sleep can also affect whether or not how you're going to get extremely sick later on after being vaccinated or developing the memory cells for a specific pathogen. So how much sleep do you need? So now that we have established the connection between sleep and your health, we should probably talk about how much sleep you should really get. Usually, it's said that everyone should get 8 hours of sleep, and though that's not entirely false, it's more complicated than that. How much sleep you get usually depends on your age. As you can see here, kids should get at least 10 hours of sleep, while adults should get between 7 to 8 hours of sleep, and teens should get 9 to 10 hours of sleep. And I can tell you for a fact, most adults and teens are not getting nearly enough sleep as they need in order to function properly, in order for the immune system to work adequately. But even though you know how much sleep you should get, actually getting it might feel a little bit more complicated. Well, we're here to tell you how we can make it easier for you than you think, and how it can be easier than you think to get enough sleep. Here are some tips we have on getting the amount of sleep that's recommended for your age demographic. First of all, you should do relaxing activities such as yoga or reading or listening to calming music before you sleep. By that we mean that you should do something calming that won't make you stay up at night. So maybe don't watch that horror movie that you've been waiting to watch all day, because then you might not be able to sleep properly. You might be too scared of the dark. Second of all, you should exercise. If you exercise, you're more likely to be tired, and it will probably be easier for you to fall asleep. Third of all, actually before I go on, although experts recommend that exercising during the day is good, you probably should not exercise right before going to sleep because it will increase the level of adrenaline in your body, which will make you more excited and more alert. Third of all, you should be aware of your caffeine intake. Experts recommend not drinking caffeine after 3 o'clock because of how your body metabolizes the caffeine and how it might still be in your system by the time you go to bed. Don't drink so much coffee or other caffeinated drinks before you sleep especially. It will only keep you up. Last but not least, have a routine or a sleep schedule. Your body, as we've mentioned in previous videos, responds really well to structure and routine. And plan a bedtime to go by every night and time to wake up every single day. Don't just sleep late thinking you can sleep in. Sleep early, get up early. That is that much better. And now, moving on to stress. So, chronic stress is something that weakens your body's immune system. Even if sometimes short amounts of stress can give you that extra kick that you need to do well in an interview or to prepare more to do well. So, we're going to be starting off with this meme, where your brain is basically like, hey, I know you're stressed out over finals and I know you've been like studying for weeks and not getting enough sleep. Well, let me just weaken your immune system so every pathogen can infect you. So obviously this is exaggerating the effects of, this is exaggerating what the brain would actually do, but it makes it really clear how stress and your immune system efficiency is related. And one of the causes explaining this is the general adaptation syndrome. And as you can see here on the screen, there's a stress curve and phases. So usually when you're in good health or in homeostasis, your body is in balanced system, and then suddenly something causes you to become extremely alarmed. You might suddenly realize, or your teacher might announce that you have a test next week that counts as 90% of your grade. So initially, there will be a slight decrease in your resistance to diseases. And then over time, as you go into the resistance stage where your body just constantly stressed out, it will increase. But then suddenly, when your body's completely exhausted, all its resources have been depleted, because stress does cause an increase in heart rate, and it does cause your eyes to dilate, and it usually takes a lot more energy off your body and strains your body. You're going to go into the exhaustion stage or your panic zone, and you're gonna burn out. And this is now your immune system is going to be completely compromised because your body is so exhausted that it cannot devote enough energy, enough resources to fueling the immune system, and which weakens it significantly. And in the time period that we're living right now with the pandemic, that is really serious because people are already stressed out, and it's been months that we're like this. So if we don't find the proper techniques or the proper methods to kind of deal with the stress, we're eventually going to hit that point where this stress causes us to become more susceptible to diseases such as COVID. Another effect that stress has that is somewhat related to the general adaptation syndrome is corticosteroids. So when your body's stressed, it releases hormones that kind of stimulate your body's sympathetic nervous system, which kind of makes you alert, which is your flight or fight response, and it makes you alert to kind of be ready for whatever is coming your way. So your corticosteroid suppresses the effectiveness of the immune system. And this is partly because it lowers the number of lymphocytes or white blood cells and T cells, which are the cells that kind of fight the disease that is the disease-causing agents. And as you can see, this is just the chemical structural model of corticosteroids. So experts say that stress is responsible for as much as 90% of all illnesses and diseases. And so you can think of this. So obviously we know that sometimes cancer can be caused by stress and heart disease. But when you think about it, stress triggers chemical reactions and floods your body with cortisol that, among other things, decreases inflammation, which is your body's response to infections, decreases the amount of white blood cells and and cells that specifically kill cancer, which makes you more susceptible to not only infectious diseases, but also cancer. And it also increases tumor development and growth and increases the rate of infection and tissue damage. So as you can see, this goes beyond a simple reaction with the immune system. Oh, your immune system's weak. It's gonna become better over time, but chronic stress can have long-lasting effects that may arise later on in your life. So now that might be a little depressing for some people. So on a lighter note, we're going to be talking about some of the ways people can deal with stress. So as mentioned previously, when talking about sleep, relaxing exercises can help lower your heart rate. Yoga is one of them, reading, listening to calming music, anything that kind of helps you get into a calmer mood and helps your body relax and wind down. Positive thinking. Evidence has shown that people who believe that they're doing better actually do better. And they have the same physical condition than people who have the same physical condition and aren't positive, so negative. So when people say just be positive, there is science and there is research behind it that shows that being positive actually has physiological effects on the human body and mind. And then going beyond the behavioral modification techniques. So I know that sounds like a mouthful, but what it's saying is just changing how we act to often break habits that trigger stress reactions. And some of that could include signing up for more stuff than we can handle, not being able to say no to others, putting ourselves in situations that are particularly stressful or that we are uncomfortable being in. So if we are able to modify our behavior in a way where we are able to kind of say no to people when you know you're going to be overbooked and you're going to get stressed out because you're doing this and that, this and that, and this and that. And just kind of being able to prioritize your time as well. And then finally, social support. And I know this sounds so ironic considering that we are supposed to social distance right now. But social support can come in so many forms. Just having calls with your friends or just even chatting with them and talking about with others when you have same problems or when you're feeling a little down or stressed out can be very helpful. And if you're interested, we also made a video where we specifically talk about mental illness during quarantine, and we mentioned a lot of resources where you can go if you need someone to talk to depending on your condition. And research has even shown that people with strong social support have better overall health and are more resistant to infections and diseases. So if you don't believe me, believe the researchers. And I think that concludes my part of the presentation. Rebecca Xu will be taking over from here. Thank you.
Another factor that impacts your immune system is your diet, because a healthy diet nourishes your immune cells. Adequate and appropriate nutrition is needed so that cells in our body can function properly. This, of course, includes the cells in the immune system. An activated immune system further increases the demand for energy during periods of infection. It's important to eat properly when you are sick and to prevent you from getting sick. Having a proper diet helps the immune system to work effectively and rapidly because immune cells are well nourished. The nutrition the immune system can receive may come not only from external sources such as food, drinks, and IV lines, but also from stores of energy already found in the body. This way, if there's no food on hand, but the immune system needs energy, it can use body stores that have been built up for emergency cases. Being undernourished is known to be detrimental for your immune system, and cases can stem anywhere from food shortages or famines in underdeveloped countries, or malnutrition from long periods of hospital stays in developed countries. A single nutrient can produce different immunological effects, such as in the case of vitamin E. It has a role as both an antioxidant, an inhibitor of protein kinase C activity, and it potentially interacts with enzymes and transport proteins within your cells. However, having an excessive amount of a nutrient in the body can be detrimental to the immune system as well. For example, iron supplementation can increase the morbidity, which is the number of people ill, and the mortality, which is the number of people who die, in regions that has malaria as an endemic disease.
Hey guys, hygiene. Hygiene reinforces your immune system. Hygiene versus immune system. Hygiene hypothesis. The hygiene hypothesis states that early childhood exposure to particular microorganisms protects against diseases by contributing to the development of the immune system. Also, a lack of exposure to particular pathogens is thought to lead to defects in the establishment of the immune tolerance. In order to keep our immune system safe, it is commonplace today to wash your hands with antibacterial soap and keep ourselves clean. No doubt, it's an effective weapon to keep germs and pathogens at bay. We should keep doing that, and it is a must. However, a growing body of research is showing that microbes and microscopic organisms like bacteria, fungi, viruses, and dirt are crucial for our well-being. Living conditions today are much more hygienic than they've ever been before. Some germ experts say that is now a problem. According to the hygiene hypothesis, people who grew up in areas of high level of sanitation lack normal evolutionary exposure to microbes, pollen, and other microscopic things in the environment. That lack of exposure negatively affects the development of their immune system. To back this up, there was a research done in 2006 study. It showed the immune systems of Amish people and us modern citizens. Showed that Amish people actually have a stronger immune system, while we have problems like asthma. It's because they're more exposed to the environment, to dirt and farms. So I'm saying that playing in the dirt is good for you? Well, yeah, it is. So, how is hygiene important to the immune system? Personal hygiene helps keep your immune system from being overwhelmed by the onslaught of germs. Also, the skin is an important part of the immune system, for it acts like a barrier between germs and your body. Too clean or not too clean? Are we going overboard with hygiene, or should we go against good hygiene? Well, germ researchers said exposure to microbes is an essential part of being human. Most of our immune system is comprised of tissues that require activation by the microbes that we are exposed to. This does not mean that we should go against good hygiene. Rather, it is believed that our modern society has gone overboard with the means of germ killing and keeping everything spotless. So, what should you do? Welcome those microbes in your immune system to make it better. Well, it isn't meant that we should roll ourselves in dirt to keep ourselves healthy. However, you can do this. We could have closer interactions with people. I know, COVID's going on, but in the future, don't be scared to go around with people. Number 2, consider getting a pet to allow you to be outside more and keep yourself healthy. Plus, you got a new friend. Number 3, outdoor activities. Don't be scared to try new outdoor activities. Have fun. Number 4, reduce the use of chlorine-based cleaners. Living in a sterilized environment can be bad for your microbe. Start a garden. Be more environmental friendly. This will help your immune system, mental health, and environment. Bye!